Now at 10, a federal judge rules on whether lethal injections can continue in Oklahoma. And the top 3 public universities in Kansas announced they'll mandate COVID-19 vaccinations for their staff.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A federal judge in Oklahoma says the state can move forward with scheduled lethal injections for 5 death row inmates. This is KOAM News at 10. Judge Stephen Friot's ruling paves the way for the state to proceed with 7 lethal injections scheduled over the next 6 months. 5 of those 7 inmates had argued their execution should be put on hold, while Friot hears a legal challenge to the state's 3-drug lethal injection protocol. Among those 5 inmates is Julius Jones, whose case and death sentence have drawn international attention. Attorneys for the inmates have promised to appeal the judge's ruling. Oklahoma halted lethal injections in Oklahoma after 2 men died in what were widely criticized as botched executions back in 2015. Officials from 2 northeastern Oklahoma cities are siding with the state and law enforcement groups in requesting the Supreme Court overturn the McGirt ruling. That ruling found that Oklahoma has no jurisdiction over crimes committed by or against Native Americans on tribal reservations. Well, now Tulsa and Owasso have joined Texas, Kansas, Louisiana, and Nebraska in filing briefs supporting Oklahoma's request that the Supreme Court overturn the ruling. The cities allege crimes such as domestic violence have not been prosecuted. A federal prosecutor and the Cherokee Nation dispute the claims. Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt has called the McGirt decision the biggest issue facing the state and praised the filings. The 3 largest public universities in Kansas will require all employees to be vaccinated against COVID-19. Officials with Kansas State, the University of Kansas, and Wichita State all announced that employees will need to be fully vaccinated by December 8th. The announcement came after the Board of Regents determined that an executive order from President Biden applies to universities that work on federal contracts. Emporia State and Fort Hays are not subject to the mandate because they do not administer any federal contracts. Pitt State officials say the school is reviewing the requirements. Employees will be allowed to apply for religious or medical exemptions. Checking in with Nick Kelly now for a first look at the weather.
Good evening, Dow. We kind of dodged a bullet with the thunderstorms. The worst of it staying well ahead of the cold front as it pushed to the east yesterday, but it certainly lived up to its name, giving us quite a cooler day. 49 to start this morning, topping out at 61. Certainly felt more like fall compared to the past few mild, if not warm days, especially throughout the course of the weekend. We haven't had anything to track throughout the course of the weekend, but some cloud cover is sneaking in as we begin the overnight hours. Nothing underneath the clouds for the overnight hours. Still, though, watching our next storm system really get its act together out in the western parts of the U.S. In the meantime, temperatures, they've cooled off quite a bit. We're already seeing some mid to upper 40s northeast of Joplin, while everybody else is trying to hold on near 50. But with the clouds continuing to pick up during the overnight and a southeast breeze returning, we'll only drop back to about 46. And despite quite a bit of cloud cover tomorrow, maybe a random sprinkle or 2, most of us will be dry and milder, with highs pushing back near 74. We'll break down what the next system has in store for us coming up in a bit now.
Catch you then. The Biden administration today unveiled a new program to help move about 55,000 Afghan refugees from U.S. military bases into permanent homes. The program is based on a similar resettlement program in Canada. Natalie Brand has details.
For Afghan evacuees escaping Taliban takeover, resettling in a new country can seem overwhelming. A new effort by the Biden administration aims to connect evacuees with individual Americans willing to help.
So we're working on the application as we speak.
Nguyen Nguyen, former refugee herself who lives in Seattle, has already volunteered for the newly unveiled Sponsor Circle program, in which groups of at least 5 people form to provide assistance with housing, financial support, medical services, employment, and other needs for at least 90 days.
We just feel that it really is our obligation, also frankly our privilege, to be able to be in this position where we can just help others that need help.
The State Department has tapped the nonprofit, the Community Sponsorship Hub, to vet the volunteers.
Those folks all need to be over the age of 18. They need to pass background checks. They will have to demonstrate proof of resources that have been raised.
The administration's new program is modeled after a similar private refugee sponsor program that's been in place in Canada for the past 4 decades. Sasha Chanoff is the CEO of Refuge Point, one of the groups that will be assisting.
This program has actually changed Canada in significant ways because millions of people have participated. And I know personally that when you take part in helping a family that has lost their homes, it becomes the most profound experience of your own life.
Advocates say the primary need right now remains getting evacuees off military bases as quickly as possible, especially since other evacuees are still waiting to come to the U.S. Natalie Brandt, CBS News, Washington.
Sponsor circle groups also need to fundraise about $2,300 for each Afghan they want to welcome to their community. Still ahead, we look at a new study that says transmission of the coronavirus was likely occurring earlier than some experts thought. And the latest on the fallout of the so-called Facebook papers. Researchers say COVID-19 was probably spreading around the U.S. and Europe before we realized it. A new study says transmission of the coronavirus was likely occurring in several areas across Europe and the United States by January of 2020. Many infections could have gone undetected. The study is based on a model of COVID-19 transmission during the first wave of the pandemic. The model's findings, originally released last year, were published today in the journal Nature. The model suggests the coronavirus was spreading in the U.S. in January and February of last year when testing for infections was limited. The researchers estimate that by early March, only 1% to 3% of coronavirus infections were detected by surveillance systems. Facebook is in the midst of an intensifying crisis as the social media giant is confronted by whistleblowers, congressional inquiries, and a public relations firestorm. A consortium of news outlets is reporting on a trove of documents from Facebook revealing a litany of challenges faced by the company. That includes reporting on how coordinated groups on Facebook sow discord and violence. Chris Wynn has the latest on the social media platform's mounting problems and uncertain future.
Facebook under fire, facing what could be the biggest crisis in the social media giant's 17-year history.
The research and studies that reveal Facebook putting profits over people are from Facebook's own files revealed to them long before it was revealed to us.
The fallout started Friday when a group of media outlets, including CNN, started reporting on hundreds of internal company documents dubbed the Facebook papers. Whistleblower Frances Haugen provided the papers as evidence to support disclosures she made to the Securities and Exchange Commission, and her legal counsel provided Congress with redacted copies.
Facebook never set out to prioritize polarizing divisive content. It just happened to be a side effect of choices they did make.
Monday, the former Facebook employee appeared before the UK Parliament to call for more government regulation of the social media platform.
Facebook acting in a non-transparent, unaccountable way will just lead to more tragedies.
The papers reveal how the company addressed misinformation and moderated hate speech, and they paint a damning picture of Facebook's role in the January 6th insurrection.
It's clear that the January 6th organization, per se, used them as an organizing tool to the extent that we can identify what really happened.
A Facebook spokesperson told CNN Friday that the responsibility for the violence that occurred on January 6th lies with those who attacked the Capitol and those who encouraged them. In Washington, I'm Chris Wynn.
The spokesperson also says content with the phrase "Stop the Steal" was removed from Facebook, and President Trump was suspended from the platform after the violence broke out that day. Now some U.S. lawmakers are calling for CEO Mark Zuckerberg to testify on Capitol Hill. Later, how the Pittsburgh YMCA is helping to battle food insecurity among kids.
But first, we've got a cool night ahead of us before I track a mild Tuesday and more rain chances as well. Forecast up next. Certainly much quieter for today after our last cold front rolled on through. The same front that gave us just showers and thunderstorms during the afternoon and maybe a few severe thunderstorm warnings. Of course, areas outside of the region, especially around St. Joseph and areas south of St. Louis, bear the brunt of the severe weather. But we will take the quiet day that we have for today and the quiet night that we're still seeing outside Seneca, Missouri, thanks to the shot of Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. As far as rain goes, nothing today, but this weekend we just got soaked, pushing the monthly tally to 5 3/4 of an inch of rain, putting us over 44 inches for the year. Normally we should be around 39, so you do the math. Everyone has seen at least over 5 inches more compared to what our average is. And while we do appreciate the dry time that we have more rain lining up within the next day or so. In the meantime, we are cooling down fast ever since we got past sunset. Most of us in the mid to upper 40s, especially from Iola, Pittsburgh, Carthage, up northeast towards Stockton Lake. But everyone else is sitting mainly in the lower 50s, including downtown Joplin sitting at 50. Quite a drop from our highs today because of clear skies, but a little cloud cover is trying to sneak in, but we're still looking okay at Joplin Regional, checking in at 50 with an east breeze at 7. And the humidity kind of high, but it's not too terrible at 86%. The humidity's up because we're seeing a little more mid and upper level cloud cover working from the west. That's not going to result in fog, but this is cloud cover that'll be around with more billing in as we go into tomorrow morning. Looking at the bigger picture though, we have the upper levels plotted for you here with these wind arrows. We're going to be grazed by an upper level ridge tomorrow. That's going to keep us mild as we go into Tuesday, but this is short-lived because you see all the rain and snow out to the west. That is our next storm system ready to roll on in. So let's time out when it'll arrive. Fortunately, it won't be tomorrow, but a little upper level energy ahead of that system will bring in cloud cover to start the morning drive out as we drop back into the mid and even upper 40s. And with that weak wave, can't rule out a few random sprinkles or maybe a quick shower. That's going to be the exception rather than the rule though. Most of us will be dry during the day tomorrow. And depending on how much sunshine you see, if you see a lot of cloud cover tomorrow, you'll primarily be in the upper 60s to near 70. But around Joplin, with our peaks of the sun, we should be at 46 by the morning, 66 by noon, and highs topping out around 74. Also, due to the southeast breeze returning at 5 to 15 miles per hour. Let's look at Wednesday. Here's 1 a.m. The storms out west ahead of that next storm system, they'll be severe. Well, at the time they roll in, they shouldn't be, but can't rely on some strong storms for the morning commute Wednesday. But once these rain chances roll in for Wednesday, they're going to stick with us. Periods of off and on rain and thunderstorms throughout our Wednesday. And then the backside of the system will be around for Thursday morning with additional rain before it clears out just in time for the weekend. So with this next storm system on the way, not dealing with a lot in terms of severe weather, but more rain. We can definitely count on that, with most of us poised to pick up an inch, maybe up to 2 inches of rain before we can clear things out after Thursday morning. But this will keep temperatures in check though. 74 Tuesday, 62 on Wednesday, only upper 50s for Thursday and Friday, but very fall-like and dry for the coming weekend down with lows in the lower 40s, but 66 on Saturday, 62 on Sunday, and more importantly, dry for the trick-or-treaters.
Yes, people are making their plans obviously now. Thanks, Nick. The Cherokee County, Kansas Sheriff's Office announces some road closures along highways. First, Highway 400 just east of Cherokee is closed and will remain closed through Wednesday as crews repair a railroad crossing. Also, Route 66 just east of the Riverton stoplight will be closed from 9 to 10 tomorrow morning. INTEGRIS Hospital in Miami is honoring one of its former employees. Joanne Van Sant was a caregiver at the hospital for 40 years, but lost her battle with breast cancer last September. Today, hospital officials announced they're naming their mammogram program in her memory. The program is now called the Miami Mammography Program in memory of Joanne Van Sant.
I mean, there's no words. I mean, I know everybody loved her because, she, people would ask who I am, and they're like, "Oh, you're Joanne Van Sant's son," and they just talk good about her. We just love her, and she's a special lady, and she was one of a kind.
The program provides mammogram screenings at no charge to medically underserved individuals. Pittsburgh YMCA is kicking off a new program to address food insecurity among kids. The Y says 1 in 5 children don't know where their next meal is coming from. To address that, the Y has introduced the Grab and Go food program. It's a weekly program that allows kids to pick up a grocery bag with enough food to feed them for a week.
We're thinking volunteer-wise, it's going to take 10 to 12 people to run that distribution each Saturday, packing the bags, getting that ready to go, checking everybody in, and then essentially handing off or distributing the groceries. So it's kind of a big thing to make this happen too.
The program officially starts Saturday at Ron's Supermarket in Pittsburgh. After that, distribution will take place every Saturday from 9 to 11 at Ron's. Coming up in sports, district volleyball championships are tonight. Webb City is taking on Carl Junction, and the Joplin Eagles are at home facing Carthage. Those highlights and a whole lot more up next.
It's championship night for volleyball district tournaments in Missouri. In Class 5 District 12, the top 2 seeds remain. The Carthage Tigers face the Joplin Eagles this evening. Joplin knocked out Carthage in the semifinals last year. Big block here for Sophia Shannon. Tigers take a close first set. Then Allie Lawrence with the kill. Perfect spot. Eagles even it back up. It's tied 1-1. In the third, Angelina Schramm kills it down the other line. Joplin goes up 2-1. On to the fourth set to Bailey Owens. She puts it just out of reach. And then check out this point. Really nice get by Paisley Parker there. Carthage sends it back over, but the Eagles are there for the block. It's tipped out of bounds. Eagles point. Joplin goes on to win the set, claiming the district title 3-1. In Class 4 District 12, it's a rematch of last year's title game between Carl Junction and Webb City. Brenda Lawrence in the first set, getting a huge hit to tie it at 23. Kirsten Gallardo gets this point here. Webb City wins the first set 28-26 and the second set. Destiny Berge gets a big hit in the third. Carl Junction wins the next 2, so it's tied up at 2. And then Aubrey Lassiter pushes this one over. Webb City takes the 5th set to win the district championship 3-2.
It's volleyball, so we're used to the hills and valleys all the time. I really feel like our season has been hills and valleys, and we've just really been focusing on the last couple of weeks to make sure that we are okay in the valley. We just keep our breath, move to the next ball, don't focus on what's happened before, and really move forward. But like I said, iron sharpens iron with CJ and Webb City Volleyball. We're always going to give our best games each one.
In Class 1 District 9, College Heights tops Jasper in a 5-setter, 3-2 to claim the title. Also, the Diamond Wildcats are Class 2 District 11 champions. Diamond beats Sarcoxy 3-1. The Pittsburgh State men's cross-country team won the program's first ever MIAA championship on Saturday. The girls had 4 runners place in the top 10, including a 3rd-place finish by Matthew Oglesby.
These guys have been building trust together for such a long time that there's just a confidence among them that they're all going to do their job on the day.
Been a lot of just mental energy, a lot of physical energy, and so to finally accomplish it, go back and look at pictures and relive moments and relive memories. It's one of the greatest feelings to watch and to be able to experience another conference championship. In a way, another one, but also a first one.
The Missouri Southern men also fared well as a team. The men finished 2nd. JP Rutledge secured a 2nd-place finish, while Ryan Riddle won the individual title. He finished the 8K race in 24 minutes, 28.42 seconds. Riddle has now won 4 straight individual titles. He's a perfect 3 for 3 in the regular season, plus the MIAA championship.
Yeah, I think for me the main thing was confidence. My training really hasn't changed too much physically, but I think just confidence-wise, I came into this season after what I did the last 2 track seasons at this huge confidence booster, and I just carried it over to cross. Gideon won the last 2 years, and then unfortunately he sat out this year with a small injury. So I wanted to go out there and do it for him because I knew he'd be pushing it if he was still there with me.
The St. Louis Cardinals announced a new manager today after dismissing Mike Schultz earlier this month. Oliver Marmol is taking over as the 51st manager in Cardinals history and the youngest in Major League Baseball at 35 years old. Marmol has spent his entire career with the Cardinals organization, serving as the bench coach the past 3 seasons. That's it for sports. We're back with more news after this.
Take time now to honor a local veteran. Specialist 4th Class Kenneth Keeley served in the U.S. Army during the Korean War. His hometown, Columbus, Kansas. And we are proud to salute Specialist 4th Class Kenneth Keeley. He's tonight's 4-state hero. You know, we have more than 3,000 of these heroes in our database. You can look them up by name or hometown, and we're always looking for more. Why not nominate a hero of your own anytime? It's very simple. You just click on the link on our website, koamnewsnow.com. Jeff Bezos wants to build a commercial space station that's nearly as big as the International Space Station. Blue Origin, the rocket and space tourism company founded by Bezos, is proposing a massive new commercial space station called Orbital Reef. It could be used to host science experiments, vacation getaways, and even in-space manufacturing. The company plans to work alongside startup Sierra Space to bring this space station to fruition. Executives declined to give an all-in cost estimate during a press conference today, but they said they are expecting to sign on NASA as an anchor tenant. NASA has put out calls for proposals for commercial space stations as the 20-year-old International Space Station is nearing the end of its lifespan. More and more space enterprises being turned over to private companies.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing. Yeah. The weather's going to be colder and colder still this week.
Yeah, but at the very least, certainly fall-like. Nothing to complain about there. We'll actually trend a little milder tomorrow with highs near 74. Maybe a random sprinkle with increasing clouds during the day, but once we hit Wednesday, our next storm system rolls in, and we're probably going to get just flat out soaked with Wednesdays.
And overnight lows in the 40s. Final sports note.
Really good district championships in volleyball today. Joplin comes back to beat Carthage, and Webb City wins a 5-setter against Carl Junction.
Very good. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget our morning show, and let's make it a great tomorrow.